You know when they said about animals taking over? You know when they said that? Because I heard about this story like some time before and everything, but I unfortunately had the displeasure of seeing a vid about this. Shout out to everyone in there. Shout out to all the nurses in there and doctors, the nurses and doctors doing their great thing. Remember, man, stay at home. If you have to, stay at home. If you have to, don't go out. If you don't need to, do your thing. Do your thing. So, my thing is, here's this. Just keep it real right now. There are hornets right now that tear into your blood. Now, let me just say this right now. Every time I walk down the street, especially during the summer, because we're not during in the summertime, every time I walk down the streets and I see a bee, I run. Anytime I see a bee or anytime I see a hornet, I run for my life. Because the sound of what they look like, what they basically the sound they make, what they look like, that's a buzzing thing. I'm running for the hills. So my thing here is this is that how on earth did you have hornets? So let's just see what our good friends at the BBC said. They say, even as the US remains under attack from the coronavirus outbreak, a new terror has arrived. Murder hornets. The 2-inch, let's just pull that bigger. The 2-inch long Asian giant, okay, saying nothing, hornets, Vespa mandarinia, have been found in Washington state. Multiple stings are deadly to humans, and in their slaughter phase, the hornets destroy honeybees whose bodies they feed their young. Scientists are now on the hunt for the hornets, hoping to eradicate the species before they wipe out US bees. Although they typically avoid people in Asia, murder hornet stings are thought to cause as many as 50 human fatalities a year, according to the New York Times. So my thing here is this: is that the first thing is how on earth did this even arrive in America to begin with? You know, because how far can hornets actually fly, really? But the reason why I want to just look at this story is it's linked into what we were talking about yesterday, which is the animal uprising. You know, Caesar, Planet of the Apes. Shout out to Multi Guinness out there, my Multi Guinness fam out there. What's up? I'm going to ask you guys what you're eating as well, but I just want to start off cold like this. So, could this be the beginning? Sorry, could this be the beginning of an animal uprising? Could this be the beginning of the animals saying, you know what? What's up? Screw you. We want to take over, because again, I don't know how many people have seen this, but and I didn't even want to even put this video out there, but this was on Joe Canahan's Instagram. There is a video of a hornet literally destroying a rat. It was either a rat or a mouse. I don't know. Was it a mouse rat or a mouse? And as you saw how it was slowly and methodically decimating this mouse or rat, I was like, and the hornet is this, the rat is about this big, the hornet is this big, and it was ravaging and rummaging and slashing and gnawing at the flipping flesh of this rat's mouse. So obviously people, because I think the headline I first saw was like, oh my gosh, we now have the coronavirus. How bad could this get? Now, obviously, like, they're obviously in small numbers and so forth. And 50 deaths a year, 50 deaths is still something, but 50 deaths is not like 1,000, 300,000 deaths. My thing is this, is that if these hornets, because it's one thing to be in a case of, okay, don't avoid human contacts, trying to stay with the whole coronavirus thing and everything. That's one thing. But it's another thing to where, okay, we now have to avoid hornets? Because it's a case of like, wait, you basically can't leave, because these things are fast, they're quick, they fly. So I remember every single time I'm hearing bees and hornets and everything, I am running, and the way these things just go. Because think about hornets though, or things about bees. If you don't disturb them, they don't disturb you. That's what I've learned. Like, bees just focus solely on the taking out the honey, what's it called, precipitate, whatever it is. Okay, they just do that whole honey thing. So if you don't bother that, because it's only when you bother them, then they come back to get you. But this just shows you that how quickly human beings can get lubricated. What if these hornets just multiply? And then what do? Oh, take out a machine gun and shoot them? These things are flying rapidly. Like, what? Or do you just say to everyone, okay, everyone from this area, evacuate. Well, we're going to nuke this place. This is where all these bees and everything, we're going to nuke this place. Or you set up like a honey house, attract them, let them all congregate, and then boom. But it is definitely scary, man. It is definitely scary. The end of time is near. See, for me, I think that is slightly overreacting, man. That is slightly overreacting, saying that the end is near, because I think everyone wants to sort of overreact, because again, the first one was, oh my gosh, is this revolution? Is this the book of Revelations? Hornets, plagues, floods, diseases, viruses. The end is near. Now, if there's a thunderstorm and I see a tidal wave, then all right, okay, then I mean, then maybe the end might be near. But yeah, man, it's something to be mindful of, because remember when this whole coronavirus thing started, it's like, oh, it's just a China thing. So there's just some virus in China and so forth, blah 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 blah. But I think once people now received it and were now affected by it, people are like, oh, okay, this is slightly more serious than what we think. So for this whole thing with these killer bees or these killer honeybees, the easiest thing to be like, stop reacting. It's like, I mean, look. So what can this flipping honeybee do? What can this honeybee do? But basically, if I was living in Washington, I'm not leaving my crib until they eradicate these bees. I'm not taking my chances with a bee that can literally rip through human flesh like butter. I told you, the video that's out there where this thing rips through that rat or that mouse, I was like, this is masochistic. This is full on masochistic, So let's be wary of these killer honeybees, man. But on the flip side, if you want to be a fatalist or something, who knows? Maybe this could just be the beginning of a breed. The beginning of a breed of killer honeybees who are set to take over the world. But I'll just say that if you're in Washington right now, be very wary. If you're in Washington right now, be very wary indeed. Well, they can fly up to 60 miles per hour. Wait, these honeybees or just regular honeybees? So I don't know about that. So if it's 60 miles per hour, well, yeah, well then you're screwed. 60 miles per hour, then yeah, you're pretty much done. Yeah, so I heard something about this, that they said that 2020 is what 2012 was supposed to be. How do you mean? Because I was reading something about that. Oh no, because the end of the world was supposed to be 2012, but they got the dates wrong. It's really 2020. Now, if that is true, then I mean, my God, But again, the way that this year has been a total disaster. From Kobe Bryant to this coronavirus thing, it's been a flipping. I mean, like this already ranks as the worst year of all time. Already, like for me, this has to rank. This is definitely putting in a great argument as this is one of the worst years of all. Like I'm inducting this year already, And the scary thing, that guys, this is the start of the decade. This is the start of the decade, because normally the first year of the decade sets the tone. It sets the tone, Year 2000 set the tone, 2010 set the tone. So what is it saying? By all this crap happening right now, what kind of tone is it saying? So guys, as I always say, what are you guys eating, man? I just had some rice, stew, egg, and chicken, and I also have my multigrain. So tell me what meals you're having. Tell me what meals you're having. I want to know the meals you're having, man. Um, tell me the meals you're having, man. Tell me the meals you're having. Yeah, no, 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 no. Again, that's what I said. I believe that there's going to be an animal uprising. I believe that there's going to be an animal uprising. Like, I don't know whether we will be around to see it, but I've always felt, based on how we've screwed over animals, they may fight back, and this may be the tip of the iceberg. This may be the tip of the iceberg. Next thing, we just we see now fully sentient lions that can rip through your face. Who knows? Maybe dogs will say, you know what? We hate being dragged along by our leashes. Let's bite your faces off right now. So dogs may say, no, 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 we want rights. We want rights. Screw you. And if animals revolt, man, again, human beings will just have to bring out the tanks and the flown army to pretty much kill all these animals, But yeah, I do believe that an animal uprising is on the horizon, man. So another thing I wanted to talk about again, let's just see, what are you guys eating, man? Lasagna, nice one, man. What did you have on your lasagna, man? Tell me, what was on your lasagna? Pasta and meatballs. Woo! You see, I've been off meat, man. I've been off meat, so I'm not really on that. But pasta is always good. I've actually not had pasta in a while. Fries and fish. Oh, it's so funny. Like in England, they just call that fish and chips. But fries and fish, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, this is the worst year of the 21st century for sure. For sure, it's been a really really crappy year, completely total break year. Like inducted this year, man. All right, guys, I want to talk about this right now. So this is our next topic. No, before we go there, let me do this. There we go. So images. Tools, time, past 24 hours. I don't know. Yeah, there we go. It's this one here. So basically, I don't know whether you saw this, but this is Don Lemon. And he went on this kind of, not really a rant, but this kind of soliloquy about what is Trump's problem with Obama. And you basically have to watch this video. Just type in Don Lemon, Trump. He basically just goes in on this Trump, and based on Trump's obsession with Obama and trying to always compare himself and also downplay Obama. And you see, I have my own thoughts on Obama, and maybe this isn't really the right time to go out and talk about Obama, but specifically with this, because I feel that Trump is strangely obsessed with Obama, very strangely obsessed with him, because you see, when you talk about a guy once or twice, it's fine. But when you constantly talk about this guy and you constantly talk about how your administration has done more than his administration, then it becomes a whole thing of like, okay, you now have an agenda now. You now have an agenda. So, so the thing though is, people can say, okay, is this a racial thing now? Because I never want to go into the whole racial thing as well. But people can say, okay, is this a whole racial thing? Is this a case of Trump things like, who is this? Even if Obama's actually half black, or who is this guy that thing? Because again, my thing about it is that Trump, just do your thing, and people will judge you for it. You don't need to tell us that, oh, when the Obama administration came in, they were crap, they were horrible. Look at what they did. Look at what we did when we came in. Because whenever he's on Twitter, also Trump on Twitter is just insane. I've never seen, people should pause for a moment and Do you know? Let's just take a trip towards Trump's Twitter because this is really about Trump the man. Let's just take a trip towards Trump's Twitter. Let's just look at the last few things that this guy has. Remember, this is the president of a country. The fake news has reached an all-time high. Okay. And this guy tweets, I swear, this guy has at least 1,000 tweets every day. And Danny T actually said that he's actually blocked him. I wanted to say we run. See, most of the money raised by the rhino losers of the so-called Lincoln appreciates go. Now, maybe I'm crazy. Has any president openly used the word losers before? Americans, please tell me. Again, I don't know anything about American history. Has any president openly used the word losers whenever they've been discussing anything? The do-nothing Democrats, the fake news, lamestream media. I mean, my gosh. But back to the whole Trump-Obama thing, man, is I definitely do believe that Trump does have a certain weird obsession and issue with Obama. And for me, I don't know why. Because normally, whenever you have an issue with someone, they've wronged you. Like if a guy wrongs me or a guy messes me around, oh my gosh, like I have beef with that guy until we settle it. So I just said to me, okay, what has Obama done to Trump? What has he done to Trump that Trump? Because again, Obama doesn't even say anything. Okay, I remember I am not. This isn't good versus evil. Like, oh my gosh, Obama, the good, lovely man that did all these things. Because look, a narrative that I don't want to be on Twitter right now is the whole, oh, bring back Obama. Obama is so good. We miss you so much. Even if I'm a huge fan of Michelle Obama, because there is no good and evil where these two men are involved. It's a lesser evil. I believe Obama is a lesser evil. But the American ideology, the American empire ideology, will always remain the same from president to president to president. They will never allow a president to truly change things. If you come into America, there is a Middle East mandate. There is a mandate on certain foreign countries. There is a mandate of things that you have to do and the way that the wheels turn. So, of course, Republicans and Democrats have different ideals, but I think the key thing to note here is this: is that, and this, so this is even when we're even getting deep right now. Yes, there is a difference. There is a difference. But what people, and I think this is the sheep, the age is not preaching now. What the sheep don't understand is Obama and Trump politically, forget about personally, politically, aren't that different. Because the Republican Party and the Democratic Party aren't that different. That was a lie that I sort of believed. But they really aren't that different, man. But yeah, no, I think that is definitely you're pretty much almost on the money there. You're pretty much almost on the money there, because I don't even have to watch a Trump documentary, which I've watched, or Netflix. I don't even have to see Trump being interviewed. Just his tweets. And guys, none of us are psychologists here, but when we just look at Trump's tweets, it's obvious that he has a chip on his shoulder. He has a chip on his shoulder. And I think he's always tried to prove himself, which is why I think that documentary about Trump was interesting, based on when you just look at his relationship with his father. And that is what Don Lemon alluded to. Obama had to work for everything. He fully earned everything. And he was loved. Is it a crazy coincidence that the moment that Trump came into power, he literally tried to undo every single thing that Obama did? Literally, in his first few months, everything that Obama did, undid. You know, that's... even if you're a Republican coming into a Democrat, or Democrat coming into a Republican, and you share fundamental differences with these guys based on politically, allegedly, you would give some time or so before you change things. But the swiftness with which Trump went about saying, what did Obama do? I'm doing the opposite. Makes just pause and say, what is specifically is this issue? What specifically is this issue? But guys, but the main thing in this story is that he became president. That's the real problem. So you can insult him, say this, do all that kind of stuff. At the end of the day, he became president. He became the president. So he can stick his chest out so firmly and say, all you losers who thought that I couldn't do this, who thought that I would never be president, oh my gosh, I'm going to even be much more arrogant. I'm going to be even much more arrogant to you guys. Says H, do you know about Project McUltra? Project McUltra. What is Project McUltra? Let's check this out. Project McUltra. Project McUltra, also called the CIA mind control program, is the code name given to a program of experiments on human subjects that were designed and undertaken by the. Ooh. Now this is interesting. All right, let us have it. It's a small read. Experiments on humans were intended to identify and develop drugs and procedures to be used in interrogations in order to weaken the individual and force confessions through mind control. The road was a nice. Wow, interesting. No, I've never heard of that. See, now that sounds like a movie. That literally sounds like a movie. So that's the thing, is like, Trump will. The issue is he won the election. He was victorious, and by him being victorious, it was a big fat F you to all of his opponents and all of his enemies by saying, "Oh, bro, I'm now that dude. I can do whatever I want. I was right. I was right." Because by him being voted in, it gave him validation, even if he didn't actually win the popular votes, though. That's where, and I think some Americans have to explain to me that, how is it that I can lose an election if more people vote for me? Because that electoral college crap doesn't make any sense. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. The whole thing of an electoral college is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life, man. Obama's reason ISIS exists. Look, I don't know any of those details, man. But again, but what I say is, and this is the point that I was trying to make, is that Don Lemon, obviously CNN, because remember CNN, it's so complex. But look, like this, CNN aren't the good guys. CNN are, for me, CNN are not a news station. As much as I disagree with a lot of stuff that Trump does and says, one thing that I am so much on the side on is that CNN aren't a news company. They're an agenda company. See, for me, I get my news from Twitter or online or Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera is one of those stations in which, they are somewhat impartial. I don't watch BBC. I don't watch Sky News, because BBC, Sky News, they're all right wing. They're all run by the Tories. I don't do CNN because CNN are run by the leftists. Because for me, politically, I'm a mix. There's some things that make me liberal. There's something that's make me perhaps much more Republican. That's why I say to myself that I'm much more of an independent, because I have come to see that because I used to think that, oh my gosh, liberal, yeah, man, liberal all the way. Come to find out somehow these liberals can almost be as dangerous as these right-wing people. So that's the thing. Bernie was the only good choice. You see, the thing about Bernie is he would have never have won. Remember, what did I say before? there is always a status quo. Obama and Trump aren't as different as the media make you think they are. Yeah, there are some key differences which we've seen and so forth. There's things that Obama just wouldn't do with regards to immigrants, the border, and everything. But in the larger scheme of things, so that's like on a micro level. But on a macro level, in the larger scheme of things, they aren't that different. Do you really think Obama would have been president if he really wanted to change things? If Obama really said, no, man, all these African Americans in this hood, we are changing these neighborhoods right now. All those guys on welfare and so forth, we're not going to give them a better opportunity, give them the opportunity to get jobs, a better opportunity to get schools, and give them affordable education and put them in the best possible scenario to go and earn jobs. And I'm going to do that for my African American people and mostly poor people out there. If he was really about that life, do you really think that they would have allowed him to go in and make national health care? Because Bernie Sanders, what he was doing was radical. And the status quo just wouldn't have it. Biden is trash. Biden is trash. And because again, because I put out a video and this, I think this lady was like, oh, because I put out a video saying, oh, so do we now have to vote for Biden because Sanders isn't around in order to make sure that Trump doesn't have another 4 years? And this lady said, well done for not giving Trump another 4 years. But I said, wait a minute. Do the work. I'm a Bernie Sanders. No, I'm not, but just for example, I'm a Bernie Sanders supporter. I supported his politics and his ideals. I don't support what Biden is about. I just don't. He doesn't appeal to me. So Biden shouldn't have to work to get my votes. Because he isn't Trump and Trump is so evil, we should all come together as Democrats to get Biden elected, even if I don't actually agree with what Biden is selling. Because my thing is this, is that if Biden, you're not going to do the hard work to earn my vote, I don't vote. And whatever happens, happens. Whatever happens, happens. Because for me, that's lazy. So basically, Biden, you don't even have to campaign because all of those Sanders guys will just vote for you automatically because, hey man, it's either Trump or me. Because if you don't vote for me, you're going to vote for Trump. So I didn't even have to say anything, So and for me, that's cheap, and that's sad. That is cheap and that's sad, man. No, look, man. Wait, sorry. I've seen videos of Biden where you see this guy couldn't string a single sentence together. This guy was having issues with stringing a single sentence together, and I said that God help this dude in a debate with Trump, because Trump is many things, man. Trump is very charismatic. Trump will because he beat up Clinton pretty badly. Trump would wipe the floor with Biden. A man that can't string a sentence together, not in a pressurized situation. What do you think? So if you can't talk properly or remember your words in a campaign, what chance do you have in a debate stage under pressure, presidency on the line against Trump? When we saw what Trump did to Hillary. But that's my thing there, is that, and I think for Obama watching this, I think that's why you don't really hear that much from Obama. Because people say, no, Obama should stay more, and all that kind of stuff. What's Obama supposed to say? And Trump, man, screw you orange pig. What's he going to say? So he just has to just sit back and just while away the days. Look, and guy, him and Michelle are making a lot of good money doing their thing, man. Look, we'll have an Obama discussion afterwards, because Obama isn't as great as what people say, but people forget that 2008 was a financial crisis. It was a total financial crisis, and Obama came in during a very difficult time, and he helped really steer that ship um, in the right direction, you know. So whatever his politics are, you have to give him kudos for what he did during that. Because I remember that whole Wall Street thing where I think people committed suicide. People who lost so much on everything, they committed suicide based on how much they had lost, man. So that's the thing, man. Um, so what are your thoughts on the left being silent on Biden's allegations after going so hard at Kavanaugh? Shows that they're using the Me Too movement for their agenda. You see, that's the thing for me. I am all about let's be fair all the way through. I'm about let's be fair all the way flipping through. You can't have one set of rules for one person and not another set of rules for another person. So, because remember, they went hard on that Kavanaugh person. And for me, my main thing is evidence. The issue we have in the Me Too movement is, and oh gosh, yes, we have to do the Me Too movement. The Me Too movement. Because with the Me Too movement is it's guilty until proven innocent. An allegation is guilt. Once someone has alleged something against you, you are suddenly a pariah. You are suddenly living in exile. I'm like, oh, shouldn't it be innocent until proven guilty? You know, how am I guilty because someone alleged I did something? No, prove it. Where is your evidence? You know, and you can't have the whole thing where you say, oh, I believe her, because no. Let's just prove things, you know. But I think the left, I told you, like, I mean, I thought I was left wing. I thought I was, because I grew up thinking that things were binary, black and white, right? It was bad. You guys are really care about yourselves. Left wing is good. They care about people. They're more open. They're more. No, the left wing is just as bad as the right wing, just in a different sense. Just in a different sense. Is that, but if it is true, the stuff with Biden, even if the allegations are not there, you have to have the same energy you have for those right-wing people, those kind of people that you hate. You have to have the same energy. But guys, we're dealing with human beings. We're dealing with human beings. And when we're dealing with human beings, human beings are biased by nature. Human beings like to feel that they're objective, but they're biased by nature. So those leftist people, they will come up with every excuse under the sun why Biden shouldn't be looked in. So this is just like a conspiracy. But when there's an allegation for someone on the right wing or an allegation against Trump, like some allegations against Trump were unfounded and no one said anything. Like he was innocent of some of the allegations and people were like, oh, no, it's like, you have to carry the same energy. But guys, that's not going to happen. We're dealing with human beings. We are dealing with human beings. No, I want to definitely talk about this on another one, which is again like feminism, modern feminism, and so forth. Because that Amber Heard Johnny Depp thing is one of the wildest stories ever. Amber Heard is a piece of crap. She's a piece of crap. For a period of time, again, guilty till proven innocent, Johnny Depp was made to appear as a abusive person, and his image was ruined. His image was ruined. You know, he was made to appear as an abusive person. But once it was found out Amber Heard had actually lied, well, that's why I don't even know how she can walk again. It's like, I don't give a damn how attractive you are and everything. What she did is so messed up. You should never ever walk again. So those are all those things there. So let's move things on to what is our main discussion talking point, man. Our main discussion talking point here. Ancient Egypt. Ancient Egypt, man. So I've said this many times that if I had a time machine, ancient Egypt is where I would want to go to. One of the places I need to go to, and I'm saving up to go to hopefully one time, is Egypt to see the pyramids. Now, I have all respect in the world for the Leaning Tower of Pisa, Big Ben. Um, what's the other one? The Eiffel Tower and so forth. Eiffel Tower is popping off, by the way. Um, I have all the um. So I have all the love for all of those things. The pyramids is one of the craziest things I think in terms of what human beings have been able to achieve. So crazy. Nobody says that the aliens built the Leaning Tower of Pisa. No one says that um, aliens built the Big Ben. But the pyramids are so crazy that people really believe that the pyramids was built by aliens. You know, let me even pull up this whole thing of the pyramids. Because here's my thing here. Because I don't believe that whole thing of they were built by aliens. Oh damn! What are we doing? What are we doing? No, what are you doing? Open image in new tab. Open. There you go. You see, I'm one of those guys that says also that. Here's my thing. Back in those days, they didn't have cranes. They didn't have cranes and they didn't have machinery. The level of architectural detail it takes to actually build this stuff is insane. It is absolutely flipping insane. The level of architectural knowledge it takes to actually build this stuff. So I just understand how the hell did they build this without cranes? Now people have said that slaves, loads of manpower and everything. So those slaves must have been worked at. But even if you had all the slaves in the world, you had 300,000 people. It is still mind blowing to think that these dudes were able to build such a complex structure without the modern kind of machinery that we have today. And even the way that they had to even the thought of building this stuff is insane. Is absolutely insane. And when we even look at the pharaohs themselves, because there's this whole thing about were the pharaohs black or not, or the way Arabs are not. Here's the thing here. Ancient Egyptians were black. That's a fact. They were black. Because first of all, only a black person will think of building something as ridiculous as the pyramids. Okay. And when you look at the swag they had and the way they dressed, that's how blacks would normally dress. So that's just on one angle. But remember, the Arabic people, Middle Eastern people, I don't know where it was from specifically, they invaded Egypt. They came to invade Egypt. So that's why you see mostly Arabic Middle Eastern people that make up like guys like don't look like Mo Salah and so forth make up Egypt because those are the people that came to invade it. But before they invaded, remember, back in those days, nobody was really moving around. Nobody was really moving around. So Africa was just there. So that was of course they were black. But my thing is, I would have wanted to know how the pharaohs rolled, with the fact of how do they live. It's like how do they live, how do they operate, and how did the world work? Because what we see in films, it's films. You know, well, I mean, what we see in films is films, man. What do you say that? What else are we supposed to see in the films? Fix so all that stuff that you see, what's it called in Ben Hur or Cleopatra, but that's stuff away. But I would have liked the reason why I want to go to ancient Egypt is to see how the civilization worked. Because because obviously you have ancient Romans, you have the Greeks and so forth, but there are even if you see a lot of stuff about ancient Rome and everything, there just seems to be something more interesting visually, culturally with the ancient Egyptians. And when you just even the whole concept of the pharaohs, how the pharaohs were represented, how they were dressed. And let me no. Here's my little beef that I have here. This little beef that I have here. Tomb Raiders. Tomb Raiders. Not the chick that you run in PlayStation, but it's this. So it is known that when the pharaohs sort of buried their people and so forth, the way they buried people was in a very, very particular manner. Like, what's it called? It's mummified. I think they put something up their nose and everything. There's a very particular way that they buried their dead, especially like their high priests and so forth. How disrespectful is it to open up someone's coffin, bring them out, and start to investigate them? So my thing here is, okay, so in 100 years' time or 200 years' time, can a future race dig up Princess Diana or dig up one of the queens or dig up one of these presidents and just fully investigate this? Okay, well, how did these presidents think? Okay, what was in their brains? For me, like, I get the fascination for history and investigation. That's why for me, I love learning about history. I love history. History was one of the few subjects in school that I was good at because obviously I was an academic brick. But I love history because I just love the evolution of our society as human beings and how people used to live and their approaches. Because I believe that everything rhymes and everything and life is in poetry. But as much as I'm fascinated about finding out about the Egyptians and so forth, I think there should be a line. There should you have to draw a line, and I think the line in the sand is you cannot open up the tomb of someone that has been mummified and so forth. You can't do that. I want to just check up what's an interesting thing. Let's go to the daily life. So let me just quickly read this, just say about what this guy. So daily life. Most ancient Egyptians were farmers. So next time, whenever we call Hetafe or Granada or people farmers, remember, ancient Egyptians were farmers. Their dwellings were restricted to immediate family members and were constructed of mud brick designs to remain cool, blah, blah, blah. The ancient Egyptians placed a great value on hygiene and appearance. Interesting. So remember, people used to think that, oh my gosh, back in those days, guys didn't really have a bath, they were uncivilized and so forth. Check this out. Most bathed in the Nile and used a pasty soap made from animal fat and chalk. Men shaved their entire bodies for cleanliness. Perfumes and aromatic ointments covered bad odors and soothed skin. Clothing was made from simple line sheets. So that is interesting, man. That is interesting. The architecture of ancient Egypt includes some of the most famous structures in the world: the Great Pyramids of Giza and the temples at Thebes. You see, now this is where I want to go to. This is hopefully my next big trip, man. The Giza Pyramid complex. Because my thing is this, though, is that why? I mean, what was even their thinking of wanting to how is like why would they even think of building pyramids in the first place, man? Why would they even build of the pyramid? I mean, as why? Because obviously it's simple, but I feel that there has to be something deeper with regards to the image and the visual of the pyramids, But that's why I just think that, because many people said these ancient Egyptians were super smart, that these guys were super smart, and they could do, like, so they had advanced scientists, they had advanced mathematicians, and they actually taught a lot of the other world specific things. So even when the Greeks and so forth came to Egypt, they actually learned a lot of their stuff, mathematics and science, from what the Egyptians were actually doing. Let's see. So the Giza pyramid, coolest complex construction purpose. The pyramids of Giza and others are thought to have been constructed to house the remains of the deceased pharaohs who ruled over ancient Egypt. A portion of the pharaoh's spirit, called his ka, was believed to remain with his corpse. Proper care of the remains was necessary in order for the former pharaoh to perform his new duties as king of the dead. Oh, wow. It's theorized the pyramid not only served as a tomb for the pharaoh, but also as a storage pit for various items he will need in the afterlife. Wow. The people of ancient Egypt believed that death on earth was a sort of a journey to the next world. The embalmed body of the king was entombed underneath or within the pyramid to protect it and allow his transformation and ascension. See, now this is what pisses me off. This is where I get really pissed off. Can you see the meaning behind the burial and the specific care they took? Imagine how pissed off they would be if they were told, thousands of years in the future, some brick-like scientists who think they're really cool will break into your pyramid, break into your tomb, and violate your body. That's just messed up. Astronomy. So let's just read on there because I want to get to Tutankhamun as well. The sites of all three of the Giza pyramids were astronomically oriented to the north, south, and east-west within a small fraction of a degree. Among recent attempts to explain such a clearly deliberate pattern are those of. Okay, I think that they're going a bit decent in there. So, what's the name? Tutan. There you go. Wasn't this the kid? I think this was the really young kid. Tutankhamun was an ancient, oh my God, wow, 1342 to 1325 BC. Jesus. Was an ancient Egyptian pharaoh who was the last of his royal family to rule during the end of the 18th dynasty, during the new kingdom of Egyptian history. His father was the pharaoh Akhenaten, believed to be the mummy found in the tomb KV55. Wow. His mother is his father's, oh, damn. His mother is his father's sister, identified through a DNA testing as an unknown mummy referred to as the younger lady who was found. Wow. Now, see, this is the stuff I like. This is the stuff I find really interesting. You should watch this film called, I think it's The Last Emperor, because it's a similar kind of story of a really young king. Tutankhamun took the throne at 8 or 9 years of age under the unprecedented visitship of his eventual successor, to whom he may have been related. He married his half-sister, Ankhesenamun. During the marriage, they lost 2 daughters, one at 5-6 months of pregnancy. So how do they know this stuff? How do they know that they lost their 2 daughters? Tutankhamun restored the ancient Egyptian religion after his disillusion by his father, enriched and endowed the priestly orders of 2 important cults, and began restoring old monuments damaged during the previous Amama period. He moved his father's remains to the valley of the. See, what I find crazy though is that what is an 8-year-old supposed to do? So, if he took the throne at 8, because I know what happened when I was 8. I don't think I could make any kind of thoughtful decisions at 8 years old. So it's okay, yo, man, look, man, we want to try and invade these dudes. Yo, 8-year-old kid, should we invade these guys? What should we do? So is he actually making decisions at 8 or 9, or did he refer those to his advisors, man? So yeah, well, a lot happened when France and England occupied Egypt. Oh yeah, no, a lot changed. A lot changed because my thing is how much stuff was destroyed, how much stuff was taken, how much stuff was altered. So it's a lot of this. It's a lot of stuff that was changed, man. Speak of the Sphinx. Yeah, I've heard about the Sphinx. Let's bring in the Sphinx. Shout out to all the peeps out there. What up? Great Sphinx of Giza. Is it so more? Is it Giza or Giza? I think sorry, it's Giza, isn't it? Giza. Um, so the Great Sphinx is a limestone statue of a reclining sphinx, a mythical creature with the body of a lion and the head of a human. Oh my God in heaven. Facing directly from west to east. It stands on the Giza Plateau on the west bank of the Nile in Giza, Egypt. The face of the Sphinx is generally believed to represent the pharaoh Khafre. Okay. Now, oh, this is what has the 1 meter wide nose on the face is missing. Examination of the Sphinx's face shows that long rods or chisels were hammered into the nose, one down from the bridge and one beneath the nostril, then used to pry the nose off towards the south. What? Why? Mark Lerner, who performed an archaeological study, concluded that it was broken with instruments at an unknown time between the 3rd and 10th century CE. Why did they break the nose off? Any ideas? Why? It's like, why did they break the? Because again, like, so why did they? If these reports are true that some people actually chiseled those noses off, why did they do that? Why did they do that, man? You know, that's the thing. It's like that's interesting, man. So drawings of the Sphinx by Frederick Louis Norden in 1765 showed the nose missing. Many folk tales exist regarding the destruction of his nose. One tale erroneously attributes it to cannonballs fired by the army of Napoleon Bonaparte. Other tales ascribe it to being a work of Mamluks. Since the 10th century, some Arab authors have claimed it may be a result of iconoclastic attacks. The Arab historian writing in the 15th century attributed the nose to Muhammad Sa'im al-Daya, a Sufi Muslim. Wow. No, that is interesting. That is very, very interesting indeed. Let's read more. I want to get to some interesting stuff, man. Middle Kingdom, administration, agriculture, trade, language, culture, religious beliefs. No. I want to go to technology. I want to go to tech. I want to see whether these guys were fully advanced. I want to go to tech. Where's technology? There we go. Technology. So, in technology, medicine, and mathematics, ancient Egypt achieved a relatively high standard of productivity and sophistication. Traditional empiricism, as evidenced by the Edwin Smith, blah, blah. Medicine. Now, apparently, these guys were popping off with medicine. The medical problems of the ancient Egyptians stemmed directly from their environment. Living and walking close to the Nile brought hazards from malaria and blah, 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 which caused liver. Ancient Egyptian physicians were renowned in the ancient Near East for their healing skills, and some such as Imhotep. Oh yes, Imhotep. I think it's not what we were talking about, Sami, before. Remained famous long after their deaths. Herodotus remarked that there was a high degree of specialization among Egyptian physicians, with some treating only the head or the stomach, while others were idols and scientists. Yeah, man. No, but look, I think just beyond that and everything, you see, we live in a wild world, man. We live in a crazy world, and every society is important. That's why I love history so much, because again, one of my favorite books is The Prince by Machiavelli. Amazing book because of how relevant it is, and I do believe that, you know how the saying goes that the more things change, the more they stay the same. I do feel like there are certain core things that remain the same within humanity and so forth. So my dream, and this is my dream, and obviously I would do this with a machine gun, is to get in a time machine and go to ancient Egypt with a machine gun and just see how did these guys operate? How did these guys operate? And what happened to them? So if you just watch my father to see how they operated, how they lived, how they went about daily life. Because see, Wikipedia is cool. Shout out to Wikipedia. Without Wikipedia, I would have failed my uni, by the way, because I did not understand what the hell um what my science course was about in uni social. So thank you very much, Wikipedia, for making me pass, man. But the thing about this though is that um these are just scientists investigating and deducting things. I want facts. I want facts. I want fully 100% facts. Um, and with those facts is what I want to really, is what I want to see because they 100%, there is a lot of stuff that we just don't know that we could never find out. This is just all based off stuff that they left. You know, this is just all based on stuff that they left. I think this is a theory that people say because I say they say aliens built the pyramids because Europeans couldn't fathom what they saw in Africa. That's what people always say because they say, oh no, aliens must have built this. It's like no, aliens. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That aliens built the pyramids. The aliens built the pyramids. I think Homeboy said, yeah, I want to check the religious beliefs. I want to check the religious beliefs. Oh, and by the way, if this is happening right now, I would have failed. Thank God that Wikipedia wasn't illegal back when I was doing uni, because without Wikipedia, I would have failed like a phoenix from Mars. I would have bricked this. I would have turned in a class A brick thingy. So let's look at religious beliefs. Let's look at religious beliefs, shall we? What religious beliefs? There we go. Religious beliefs. Beliefs in the divine and in the afterlife were ingrained in ancient Egyptian civilization from its inception. Pharaonic rule was based on the divine right of kings. The Egyptian pantheon was populated by gods who had Ooh! Now we're talking. Now we're sitting now. Busy. This is what gets me excited. The Egyptian pantheon was populated by gods who had supernatural powers and were called on for help for protection. However, the gods were not always viewed as benevolent, and Egyptians believed that they had to be appeased with offerings and prayers. The structure of this pantheon changed continually as new deities were promoted in the hierarchy, but priests made no effort to organize the diverse and sometimes conflicting myths and stories into a coherent system. These various conceptions of divinity were not considered contradictory, but rather layers in the multiple facets of reality. Gods were worshipped in cult temples. But before we even get there, first of all, that is super fascinating. But do you know what I find also interesting as well? How did we go from gods to not just the one God? What's up with that transition? How do we go from God to now the one God? Like, so that is why I just say, I just have questions about this whole thing with, okay, so where does the concept of the one God come from, and why did they believe in gods? And you just say to yourself, okay, so what was it about them that said that, all right, gods, there are several gods now. What had to happen? So that's where I find it interesting, that what had to happen, or what was their thinking behind them thinking that there could be several gods. If you could see ancient Egypt or 2,000 years in the future for one day, what would you choose? Ooh! That's a great question. That is an amazing, because my thing is that I'm going two ways. I'm going to ancient Egypt and I'm going 2,000 years into the future. But if I was to only choose one, ancient Egypt. Do you know why? I'm scared. I'm scared that if I go 2,000 years into the future, I'll be like, holy crap. We really bricked it. Imagine if you go 2,000 years into the future and all you see is just like a desert. See, for me, it will be more educational for me if I went in the past, because if I go into the past, I'm learning things about one of the most fascinating things before. Because okay, all of you guys say in the future, if you go 2,000 years into the future and we have been wiped out, it's just a desert, and it's just these like reptiles or mutated mutants living. Okay, then what? Then what? You know, and who knows if I go into the future and then I then get slashed. So yeah, so that's the thing. 2,000 years into the future is a bit is a bit tricky, man. But let's resume, man. Let's resume. So gods were worshipped in cult temples, administered by priests acting on the king's behalf. At the center of the temple was the cult state statue in a shrine. Temples were not places of public worship or congregation, and only on select feast days. The Egyptian believed that every human being was composed of physical and spiritual parts or aspects. In addition to the body, each person had a suit, a shadow, a ba, personality or soul, a ka, a life force, and a name. The heart, rather than the brain, was considered the seat of thoughts and emotions. After death, the spiritual aspects released from the body and could move at will, but they required the physical remains or substitutes as a statue as a permanent home. The ultimate goal of the deceased was to rejoin his ka and ba and become one of the blessed dead, living on as an ark or effective one. For this to happen, the deceased had to be judged worthy in a trial in which the heart was weighed against a feather of truth. Damn! If deemed worthy, the deceased could continue their existence on earth in spiritual form. If they were not deemed worthy, their hearts was, oh my God, was eaten by Amrit the devourer and they were erased from the universe. Jesus. So guys, man, if you have done any bad things, man, I think it's time to repent your way through. That is crazy, man. That is crazy. How good is Wikipedia really? Well, good enough to give me a 2-2 from my course, whatever that is. So basically, without Wikipedia, I ain't passing. So it's good enough to give me a 2-2. But yeah, man. I mean, look. So no, but I think that is an interesting question that he says, like ancient Egypt or going into the future. I just feel that I think someone even mentioned this before. What if these ancient Egyptians were really advanced? They were super advanced. And what if, sorry, what if the ancient Egyptians, so now this is where things get really lovely. Now, this is where things get really interesting. How do you think the world would have changed if the ancient Egyptians were never conquered? And they just were allowed to continue living. And they were continuing to advance their technology, advance their ways. Where would the world be? Because my thinking is that I do believe that we should have been more, if not for war, racism, classism, various divisions, conflict, if we were more unified, which is important because human beings love conflict and human beings love to fight. But I believe that if we were more unified, we would have more advanced technology now. Because it's like by the law of numbers, the more smart people there are, the more things will be advanced. 10 smart people is better than 3 smart people. 50 smart people is better than 10 smart people. So the more smart people there are, the more chances you will get more crazier stuff happening. So, and these ancient Egyptians were super smart, they were super advanced, and they were pretty crazy, interesting civilizations. So I said to myself that what if they were untouched? What if they were left untouched and they were just allowed to naturally develop through? Could that society really have because again, even if they were untouched, could that society have sustained itself? Or would it have somehow eaten itself from within? Would there have been somewhat of an uprising? Because remember, royalty and so forth, they had a lot of slaves. Had a lot of slaves. So how long could that have existed? Or maybe they would have evolved from having slaves. It would have been maybe slightly much more democratic, but they would have still kept their ways and still kept their tradition. The saddest thing, I think, and the most unfortunate thing of them getting invaded is so much of their particularly very interesting and unique culture was erased. It was completely erased, and that's just the unfortunate thing, man. Um, let me see, bro. So how the f did people survive in deserts in those days? You have to just drink a lot of water. You have to basically drink a lot of water. But basically don't get caught out in the open grounds. Because obviously, if you're within the quote unquote city or village place, obviously that's where you have your food, your water, and everything. But Egypt and everything, it's a wild place. So obviously, if you go out, for instance, even if you're in the countryside and you just go venturing out in the no, that's different though, because even if you're in the countryside, there's still fruits, birds, and stuff because there are trees growing. But in the desert, there are no trees. So yeah, it's a case of just stay your ass in a village or a city. This is interesting. Would the Egyptians have expanded themselves and say, all right, let's now colonize the world? I don't know. Most likely, because and again, maybe there's just something to do with humanity and so forth. Is why is there a need for humanity to conquer? Why? Why can't we be satisfied with what we have? Or why can't we share? Even when you just look at all of these empires and so forth, the themes like basically it's like there's some very sad and unfortunate things when you look at these ancient civilizations. The Romans, the Greeks, the Egyptians, is royalty and a lust for power. Because with royalty comes slaves. With royalty comes class. And it's so funny that they built the pyramid, because that exactly is the image of the pyramid. Maybe that's why they built the pyramid, because the image of the pyramid is pretty much the image of a royal society, which is at the very top, the very few are the very powerful and the very wealthy, and those are the guys that have the power, and the guys that have a little less power slowly under them. But the people who are the masses are at the very bottom. And when you look at the image of the pyramid, and a pyramid can only work in a tangible way by having the large base at the bottom. If you flipped a pyramid upside down, it would pretty much collapse. So the foundation are the masses. But you would think that more numbers would overpower less numbers. And this just shows you the power of intelligence and the power of control. Because if all the slaves said, wait a minute, we outnumber these dudes. We outnumber these over 100 or 200 to 1. If we revolted, yeah, some of us will die. We would take over them. But let's get even deeper. And this is where it gets really sick. And this is just where it gets really crazy. If the slaves revolted, you know what would happen? The royal structure would repeat itself, because those who led the conquering will say, well, no, I'm in charge right now. I led the conquering. And those people who were at the forefront of the conquering will be seen as deities, will be seen as heroes. And they'll see, initially they'll be like, we're going to do things differently from how the pharaohs did it. But eventually, you know what I always say? history repeats itself. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Those guys will turn into those pharaohs because what you learn as a servant or as a slave are the ways of your master. Which is why you know what they always say? If the slave becomes a master, he will be even more ruthless than his master was. It's a fascinating um psychology thing, man. It's a fascinating psychology thing, man. Um Babel Tower. Did you hear about Babel Tower and you believe it? What is the Babel Tower, man? I love hearing about all this stuff, man. You know, Babel Tower. Let's check this out. Babel Tower. Tower of Babel. Well, yeah, no, I know the Tower of Babel. The Tower of Babel is an origin myth meant to explain why the world's people, oh my God, speak different languages. According to the story, a united human race in the generations following the Great Flood, speaking a single language and migrating westward, comes to the land of Sinai. There they agreed to build a city and a tower tall enough to reach heaven. Oh my God. God, observing their city and tower, confounds their speech so that they can no longer understand each other and scatters them around the world. Oh, some modern scholars have associated the Tower of Babel with known structures, including the. So basically, so they're saying that basically God was pissed off that they were trying to build a tower all the way up to heaven, and he now forced everyone to now speak different languages. That's crazy, man. So it's a Bible story, man. It's a Bible story. Uh, the Babylonians were the. Is this true? The Babylonians were the first major civilization. Were they? The Babylonians. And where were the Babylonians from even? I told you, guys, to be honest, man, there's a lot of reading I need to do, man. Because see, it's not this is the crazy thing about school. As again, I love history, but going to school in England and so on and so forth through my teens and everything, we only learnt about English history. And remember what they say: history is written by the conquered. But in my history classes, we never learnt about ancient Egypt. We never learnt about the ancient Greeks, the ancient Romans, the Babylonians, Middle East. Because again, a crazy thing right now, and this is what is not really promoted enough. Roman numerals are cool. Like Roman numerals look cool. Good efforts. Sorry, it didn't work. Like good efforts, but it didn't work. But visually they look cool. By the time you get to 30 something, Roman numerals they no longer may make sense. The reason why we have the numbers we use right now, correct me if I'm wrong, the live chat, is because of the Middle East. So I believe it was the Middle Eastern people that have given us the numbers that we now see, like the 1, 2, 3, with the figures and so forth, which was so much of an improvement on the Roman numerals, so much of an improvement. But you see, you don't get told that history. Like a white country, a Caucasian country, isn't going to tell you that, bro. The reason why we have these numbers right now ain't because of those Romans, it's because of the Arabic people, because of the people in the Middle East who improved upon the numerical system. And they want to talk about how they pretty much invented like sort of like modern mathematics. So those see the numbers, and that's what's the crazy thing. You will never. I learned that. Where did I even learn that from? I learned that at uni. I learned that at uni. He was at uni because for me, and see, for me, I always felt that the numbers we see, oh, it was invented by the English, because look, it's English. We all speak English. These are the numbers, and yeah, surely that was just invented by the British Empire, so forth. But no, it was invented by the flipping Arabs, man. It was invented by the flipping Arabs. So, okay, yes, um, I just want to say. But see, that's what I'm saying is like, whenever you have all these stories, like even that story of the Bible and everything, and whenever there's a religious aspect to it, I always say whenever you bring religion into anything, I never take it as literal. I take it as allegorical. Because for me, as I get again, I am spiritual. So I don't believe in the concept of a God, but I don't believe in the institution of religion. But whether it's the Bible, the Quran, or any of the stuff, it's meant to be an allegory. Like Adam and Eve didn't really exist. I don't think Moses parted a Red Sea because if there's a dude who literally parted the entire sea, that dude is that dude is basically that dude is beyond Chief Oga. If a guy really parted the Red Sea, I am building a new tier above Chief Oga, if that's true, man. Um, so looking at history, is it better to have a king or ruler ruler, good or bad, political system, or there was a time when clergy and states mixed, or do we need a new system, in your opinion, altogether globally? Oh my gosh, that's a great question, man. For me, it depends on the people. It really depends on the people. A religious state, a heavily devoutly spiritual or religious state, need a particular kind of system, a very particular system. Whereas a state that is less religious, more independent, more skeptical, more inquisitive, made it a different state. So a group or a country that isn't a monolith, that is full of individuals, you have to have a more democratic system that involves the people a lot more. Because for me, what I've always said is, why don't politicians tell the truth? That's what I've always said. Why don't politicians just say the truth? Like that's just simple. But the thing though is that was just me thinking in a very immature way of like, oh man, politicians should just be truthful and just tell people how it is. No, they shouldn't, because people can't handle it. People want to live in a lie. So, with regards to what system works, man, I don't I don't know whether there is a perfect system for human beings, because human beings are constantly evolving, and there are so many different kinds of people that live within a set village or a set country. Um, but what we have at the moment, see, again, it's difficult because people say, oh, democracy is works. One man, one vote. You'll be putting a vote. Whoever has most votes goes in, goes through. Um, which you could say, okay, that works and so forth. But if you're dealing in a country that has many different factions, many warring factions, you need a dictator. A democratic president who has to go through different channels is going to be wiped out in a volatile country that has many, many different factions. And sometimes, you need a hard stick to beat people with before they learn. Because for me, people always say that I'm crazy. Like when I was a child, I was spanked. I was beaten as a child. And I believe in beating for children, because some children only respond to pain. You can talk, you can shout, you can raise your voice. Some children only react and respond to pain. So and that's the thing, man. Um, all right, so I think we're now in the question section. And send in your questions, man, or more about ages. Send in your questions. As I said again, I need to see those pyramids. But you know what the funny thing about it is, I have this fear that if I don't know, one of my biggest fears, and this freaks me out, is if I go and visit the pyramid and I get stuck, deep inside a pyramid, and you start seeing spirits and ghosts. That scares the living daylights out of me. Being stuck like forever inside a tomb or a pyramid scares the heck out of me. Um, $1 million question: should we remove the countries thing? See, for me, I've always thought many things are stupid. Countries are stupid. Race is stupid. But let me get on to race afterwards. But specifically to with countries, do you know countries? It's a myth. Even when I say, "Oh my gosh, yeah, Nigeria, I'm a Nigerian, I love Nigeria and everything," the even the word Nigeria and everything was created by the British Empire. you know, so a lot of what the land of Nigeria and how it exists was created by and cultivated by the British Empire. And my thing about it is that countries create division. Countries are what creates conflict. These are my guys, these are your guys. My guys, I hang with them, and we're against your guys. It creates conflict, and I think human beings love conflict. But see, I link countries with race. So the reason why I think countries have to exist is because of culture. Like my mom said something so serious to me is that we're not all the same. That's a lie. We are different. Culturally, we are different. As me growing up as a Nigerian, when I first came to school in England, it was a culture shock. Culturally, things were vastly different from where we were. So yes, we are human beings. Yes, we have two eyes and nose and mouth and everything. But the way people operated in England was very different from how they operated in Nigeria. I was shocked with how the my age mates would treat teachers and how they would treat their parents. I was like, oh my, this is like, if I said anything like that to my mom, she'd take out a bazooka and blow my off. My dad would probably eat me twice. So, but what my mom said is that all because we are different culturally, it doesn't mean that we have to hate each other. Like the beauty is, oh my gosh, we are so different. Let's learn from one another. Let's learn from one another. So the thing about countries is no, because culturally Nigeria is different from Ghana culturally. So it's like so Ghana, rather than it being, oh, this is my country, this is my thing. No, this is our culture. And we have a very specific culture because we have a very specific history. And so for that is why you saw the breakup of the USSR, because within the USSR, there were many different cultures, many different languages, many different ways of life within that country, within that, so that there are many different stages and parts of places. But the issue is that rather than us respecting our differences, once we have these different pockets, these different pockets have just created much more of a division and a divide of like, oh no. Since this is our pocket of thing, we're gonna now be pro this. It's like the concept of being patriotic is stupid. Of oh yeah, I'm patriotic. A country is it doesn't exist. It's an illusion. It's not a tangible. A country is not a tangible thing. It is an illusion created by human beings. It doesn't exist. So patriotism is stupid. Patriotism is stupid. It doesn't make any sense. Um, oh my god, bro, leave, man. No, you see. No, you can't say that. You can see now you can't say that because I said again, Star Wars is overrated. Yes, damn right I said it. Star Wars is overrated. Star Trek is damn good. And yes, Star Trek is better than Star Wars. Star Wars is still late of three films. Okay, let's still living off three films. Star Trek is amazing. Um, no, Star Trek is the chief man. Ah, why not make it so? No, look, man. I'm only a mere man. I am only a mere muscle man. I told you, I am just man. I'm just your boy half up. I'm just a bald-headed dude with sunshades that just talks in front of a camera. That's it. I'm just a bald-headed dude. So I am the last person to see. This is my thing about me. Don't ask me to lead, but I don't follow. It's been crazy, isn't it? So, oh, don't ask me to lead. I'm not that kind of guy, but I don't follow someone. I am the literal. I'm like basically I'm like Wolverine. and independence. So I will give my viewpoints upon something, and then I'll do it because I've always had my own specific ways and original ways of doing things. So but I'm not a sheep or a follower. No way. Oh, that's crazy, man. Your thoughts on the concept of a utopia, and do you think we'll ever reach a utopia in this world? A utopia can't exist with human beings. It's impossible. The concept of a utopia can't exist with human beings. It can't, because a utopia is perfection. Human beings by design are imperfect. Human beings will always be in conflict. Human Someone will always want more. Someone will always have a disagreement with someone, which is why the beauty of Star Trek, which is why I love Star Trek so much. Like, Star Trek is, what if we truly reached the maximum of ourselves as a society and we got past racism, sexism, homophobia, classism, worrying about money, worrying about material things? What if we went beyond that? Which is what makes Star Trek such an amazing thing to watch. And I love it so much. It's like, oh my gosh, like, and because we will never get to where Star Trek is. It's impossible. We will always be in conflict. So and so a utopia really it can't exist because it's in direct conflict with human beings. The human beings as a society can work. I tell you, people, this book I want you all to read. I want you all to read this book, The Prince by Machiavelli. Let me pull it up. Because your boy Uncle HH cares about you. Your boy Uncle HH wants to educate the kids. He wants to educate the kids. The Prince Machiavelli. Yeah, I think I even have it with me. Yeah, that's the one I have. Yeah. The Prince by Machiavelli. This book is balling. Do you know why this book is amazing? Your boy wrote this in like the 1400s, 1500s. And the things he says about human beings, society, and so forth are still prevalent to this day. Because he basically talks about just how governments work, government systems, and so forth. And just the way he just describes human psychology and so forth, still are very prevalent to this day. The man was a G. This man was a full-on G. And basically one of his greatest quotes, because I quoted many things, one of the greatest quotes, what he said is, "Man is fickle by nature." That is such an amazing quote. Think about that. He's going to say that man is fickle by nature. And that's what you need to know, man. That's what you need to know. Look, it should be 5 stars, man. It should be 5 stars. Well, you say this. I have written a book. I have written a book. It's just that if I tell you about the book, then you'll know my real name. So I'm not going to tell you about the book, so you don't know my real name. But yeah, I wrote a book when I was 18. Because look, I told you I was a pretty wild kid. Because I told you that because even if I talk a lot and everything, I am actually an introvert. I'm actually an introvert, so I spent a lot of time indoors writing. Yeah, gaming as well, drawing as well, but mainly just thinking of stuff but writing. So basically, I wrote like a short book, and it was like a fantasy book about these creatures who live in the snow. When I was young, and I was thinking of writing, and there's this other book I was writing with my friend, and we've been writing this book for about 6, 7, 8 years. Because it's supposed to be like this huge, massive, epic fantasy book and everything, but we've not yet finished it, man. But yeah, I mean, just that for me, I think writing, see, writing like long scale books, yeah, yeah. For me, like I'm not the greatest writer, so that's. But I may go back to writing short stories because I do want to write like short African fantasy stories, you know. Um, HH, do you think that coronavirus will cause World War III in the future? Um, well, some people have said that that this is a sort of a world war. You know, this is sort of a weird world war that we're already living in right now. Um, so this might arguably be World War III in itself. But I get what you're saying. Will it maybe cause or lead towards a World War III potentially? If the world powers find that China bricked it up and China somehow were responsible for engineering this, then yeah, it could be the start of like China and Russia versus the rest of the world. so it could be that thing. It'll be like China and Russia with the world. Boom, let's make it happen, man. Um, Opinion on Atlantis. Wasn't there a cartoon on this thing of Atlantis? Let me check this out. Let me check this out. Atlantis. I swear there was um a thingamajig. Atlantis is a fictional island. Fictional, so it's not even real. Atlantis is a fictional island mentioned within an allegory of the hubris in Plato's works, where it represents the antagonist's naval power that besieges ancient Athens, the pseudo-historic embodiment of Plato's ideal state in the Republic. In the story, Athens repels the Atlantean attack unlike any other nation of the known world, supposedly giving testaments to the superiority of Plato's concept of a state. Oh, the story concludes with Atlantis falling out of favor with the deities and submerging into the Atlantic Ocean. Oh my God. Now, that is a crazy story. But speaking of Plato, have you heard about Plato's allegory of the cave? So no, have you heard of Plato's allegory of the cave? That is one of the great stories. That is definitely one of the great stories, man. Um, uh, do you believe in horoscopes? No, I do not. You know, so basically, you know, like how guys say, "Oh yeah, I'm a Cancer, I'm a Sagittarius, I'm a Pisces and stuff." I'm like, why? What's based on the constellations of the stars? Because because the stars were positioned in some kind of way, man. Um, Therefore, I am this person, or this is how I am. Because I think so. Horoscopes, or sort of, is pretty much based on the constellations of the stars, and that tells you your future, what is coming for you, and gives insight into your personality. I've never believed in that stuff. That's when I say, "What's your star sign? What's your star sign?" I don't know what my star sign is. Okay, so please, so about that kind of stuff. I don't know what my star sign is. I don't care about it. So screw you. All right. What's you guys saying, man? This is the golden question, my guy, man. It's the golden question. What will life look like after the coronavirus pandemic? One thing is for sure, and I believe this is almost a dead set. With the internet is now going to be even more prevalent than any other thing right now. The concept of the internet and the uses of the internet is going to be accelerated. Cinemas, I think, are gone. I think cinemas are finished. There may be more films that come out online. I think schools, specifically universities, may use online workshops a lot more. there will be more use of, I mean, the online businesses are going to rise up all the way through. So you're going to have to be forced to do more things online. You're going to be have to be forced to do more things online. And this is what I've said is that I don't know when it will be, but and I think, yeah, I was speaking to a colleague at work, and he said to me, because he was saying that he believes that this is what Elon Musk was working on, where you can use the internet in a desert. So even if you're in a desert and everything, you can use the internet. So you can get internet signal within that kind of desert area. So I think that the internet is going to be more widespread. But I want to let me elaborate on this. I said cinemas will not die, but I think that there will not be as many cinemas as they are right now. 100, because I always say, like, cinemas and restaurants can't die because people don't go to the cinema to watch a film. 90% of people go to the cinema as a social outing. Like, oh, hey man, do you want to go out? Do you want to do something? Hey, let's catch a movie. Let's go to a restaurant. So restaurants, you don't go to a restaurant because you're hungry. That's a date. You don't go into cinema because you really want to watch this film. That's a date. Like you go there because you go there to have a date. So they wouldn't die. But my thing though is that with many people having a home cinema, streaming being big, I think people will have to improve the cinematic experience. So the cinematic experience will have to improve. One thing I don't want, and this is one thing I don't want. That's why I'm wary of. I don't want a case of where you only have high-end cinemas and people get priced out of viewing films. Hopefully, I don't want that because look, I have a pretty decent home cinema. I mean, maybe one time I'll do like a small video of what I have because your boy got the Dolby Surround. I got the Dolby Surround. So basically, what I've got like my subwoofer, and I've got like my 4 speakers all in a surround sound and my TV. And I do it for a good price. It was for a pretty good price. So, but as good as my sound system is, there is something about going to cinema. I'm a film merchant. I love film. So if there's like a really big film, like for instance, Dune, there's no way I'm watching Dune in my house. I don't care how good my home cinema is. I have to watch Dune in the cinema. It has to be a cinematic experience. I'm going to go in there, huge, massive screen, seated with other people and react to it. But there is something to be said. Like for instance, it was a very unique experience watching The Lord of the Rings with other people. That was a very, very thing. So it's really cool, man. So, but no. Look, when hopefully, rather than when it says hopefully, if this thing goes down, people are, like I told you, like hopefully the first place I'm going to go to is Camden Markets right now. That is literally, hopefully, when this thing goes down, hopefully, I'm hoping this thing goes down. Hopefully, head to Camden Markets and just breathe the air, go through. But then I heard something scary that people say, "Oh, so okay, what if this lasts for like another year or another year and a half?" But I think if hopefully things sort of like settle down, people are just going to just rush out to things. All those young people, and I'm sure most of you are at that age, all those guys in their 20s or their teens who can't go to the clubs, they must be like, what? Man, I'm suffering, yo. Because those guys, they live for socials and so forth, man. Oh, Yasin Brahim, thank you for the super chat there, man. Do you believe in Judgment Day and prophets? Wow. You went there, bro. Let me take a sip. Initially, I would say no because I'm a scientific evidence man. Am I going to live my life on a certainty that Judgment Day ain't going to pop off? I don't know. I really don't know. Because the Bible scares me. I've never read the Bible, but my mom is times should always be quoting the Bible, and the Bible scares me. Some of the things I've read in Revelations frighten me, you know. And I grew up with a huge element of fear of my dad, fear of religion, fear of God, and all that kind of stuff. So fear has always been an element within me. Um, so okay, so here's the thing. There's a literal thing and a spiritual thing. Literally, evidence-wise, Judgment Day, I don't really know. But then beyond me, I think there's some things that science can't explain. Science can't explain everything because human beings are really know certain things. But my thing is this is that because I believe in karma. I'm a huge believer in karma. I believe the energy you put into the world comes back and hits you. So my thing is, so if someone goes around doing evil, total crap, messing people up, messing the world up, they die and that's it. So not so Idi Amin is not going to be judged. Hitler's not going to be judged. So they just die and boom, they're now gone. Because I would like to think that this is a test because there are times when I'm in a situation. Back to the whole thing of do you believe in choice or fate? There are times where I'm in a decision where I have a choice to make here. Do I help this dude or do I not help this dude? Do I go this way or do I go this way? Do I do that or do I do that? So, and because these choices have been represented to me like, and there are times when I've done something and I've sort of been retroactively punished for it, and I've sort of someone be like, man, I wish I didn't do that. Or I've done some certain things and I'm like, wow, I'm so glad I did it. I did that. Look at the benefits I reaped from making that choice. So with all these choices that we are given, it feels as if we are on a test. But do you know why I have questions about Judgment Day? What about the baby that dies? Or the 3 year old that dies? How do they get judged? Bro, how do you judge me if I've only been popping off for 3 years? I don't even have a flipping brain. My balls haven't dropped yet. I have no pubes. So how can you judge me after 3 years? So that's where I just think the whole Judgment Day thing may be a bit iffy. Maybe it's slightly iffy, man. Let's see what he does and say, man. Bro, what up? Scientific evidence match. Yo, what up, man? What's it called? SEMJ. Basically, I'm gonna start that scientific evidence mentions gang. SEMJ, man. SEMJ. What up, baby? SEMJ, man. SEMJ gang. It's been in a concert, man. Wow, man. Yeah, man. Actually, let me ask you guys this then. Best concerts you've been to. Let me ask. No. Stop asking me questions. Let me ask you guys some questions. The best concert you've been to, best live performance you've been to, and then I'll tell you mine. Do I have one? Yes, I do have one. So tell me the best live performance you guys have been to, best concert live performance you guys have been to, man. Bro, I keep asking myself this all the time. It's like, because there's this thing in Hyde Park called Speaker's Corner. And I think they think they still do, but normally every Sunday, well, obviously not now, but every Sunday, what they do is that you have this guy from Islam, this guy from Judaism, and this guy from Christianity, and they are all like on these pulpits, and they are just all, and they're all going at each other. And I'm just looking at this. Each one of these people believe that their religion is the one religion. But my mind is that, are you saying that So if I believe in Christianity, the Muslim God doesn't exist. Surely, if there's a God or a creator, he's a God of everything. So just the notion of all these religions is okay. So I grew up with Christianity. How do I know that Christianity is the right religion and it's not Islam? You know? Um oh, you didn't. Did you? You went to a Prince concert? Wow. You are lucky, man. You are lucky. Um Iska, I'm gonna come to you. Elvis Presley. Interesting, interesting. Obviously, I'm not the biggest fan. Oh my god. You what? I'm going to tell you a story. No, before this, let me tell you a story about this. Um, Backstreet Boys. So I don't really know Avicii. I'll say this right now. Backstreet Boys over NSYNC. Now, my sister was obsessed with our Backstreet Boys. Absolutely obsessed. So growing up, I had to see her play all the music and everything. Back streets back, all right then, dan 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 dan. Everybody throw your hands in the air. As long as there is music, we'll be coming back to everybody. Yeah, yeah, rock your body. That's a good track. Actually, no, that was a bit cheesy. But Backstreet's Back, that was a good track. And Sync never made a track as good as Backstreet's Back. So look, man, Backstreet Boys, as far as a boy band goes, look, I'm a guy, but as far as a boy band goes, Backstreet Boys, they did their thing. But if we want to now talk about musical quality, bring in Jodeci, got to bring in Boys to Men and those dudes. Oh, Riri. Now, how close were you to Riri then? You know, did you get a bit of a thing in my magic? Drake. You know, say for me, I don't know much about Ariana Grande, but my sister swears to me that she's a phenomenal singer. So I've not really heard most of her stuff, but my sister says that Ariana Grande is like a quality, amazing singer. I know what I've always said about Drake. See, I'm not sure whether I'd want to go to a Drake concert. Give Drake his dues, man. The run that Drake has been on has been amazing. And I used to hate Drake. I thought Drake was this cheesy dude and everything, but oh my gosh, what the hell? I thought Drake was this really cheesy dude. But upon seeing him, man, I have to say that like wait, what's the name of that Drake album? Thank Me Later. That's a damn good album. Because it's just good music. It's not profound or anything, but it's just good music. So, and I've listened to that album. I've listened to a lot. You know, and what's it called? Is it Thank Me Now and the final song? I've forgotten what it's called. Oh, basically, that final song on Thank Me. No, I believe that's his best album. Wow. I'm going to tell you. I've got to say this story, man. So, remember when MJ announced he was going to do 10 concerts in London? Huge news. I tried to order, sold out in like a minute. I was like, damn it. I've never seen MJ live. He's in London. What are the chances that MJ is doing a concert in London? I've never seen him live and I get a chance to do it? Don't do it. But because the demand was so high, I said, you know what? I'm not going to do more concerts. He announced 50 more dates. Guys, I swear to you, the morning of this, I have not pressed the refresh button as many times as I did. Refresh, 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 refresh. Luckily, I got the concerts like boom. So me, my two brothers, my sister, 4 tickets, boom, make it happen. The concert was in July. These tickets were for February. So homie, don't mess with the MJ. I don't want to hear about Beyonce. I don't want to hear about Beyonce. Don't. These concerts were booked from July till February next year. So our tickets were for February next year. I was hyped. I've got to finally see MJ. One of my big, that's crushed me. Beyond just obviously losing MJ, I was like, wow. Losing MJ, I had the tickets, I got them. But just as memorabilia, we got sent the because I still wanted for memorabilia, so we got sent the tickets with the booklet and everything, man. Because hey, look, whenever I'm doing my YouTube binge, I'm on that MJ live thing, man. So, and one of MJ's best live performances, Tokyo, I think it's 1987. His bad tour, 1987 Tokyo. MJ live was different, man. Was different, and also when he wears gold and does this whole stranger in Moscow routine, man. MJ was different, but bro, count yourself very lucky that you saw MJ live, man. Count yourself very lucky you saw him live, man. You see, no. I will talk about this because no, MJ is a separate topic. White Mike and Black Mike. That's a separate topic, man. So, what do you think about Justin Bieber? Well, apart from him making some racist comments before, I've not listened to a single track of his. I know he's super famous, and I think Usher vouched for him. But yeah, I've not listened to a single track of the dudes. So yeah, I'd really have a think. Now, be honest, how good is she live? How good is she live? Tell me. So, well, it's not my turn. Best concert I've been to. See, this is difficult. In terms of sound, in terms of just sound, Living Color. They're this rock band and everything. Living Color. Amazing. I swear to you, they sounded better than the CD. Absolutely amazing. I watched it at, I think they've now shut down Camden Town. I think is it Roxy in Camden Town? Jazz Cafe. See, Onyx was just very rowdy, but if I had to pick one, KRS-One. Because the beauty about the KRS-One was he was damn good. Jazz Cafe with quality and everything. When he left the building, we were all following him. And literally, so you saw about 20, 30 people follow KRS-One. And I think I've posted the video on YouTube. We go to the Odeon across the street, and this dude freestyles for us outside the Odeon. One of the most amazing things I've experienced. I was like, this is amazing. Like, he literally was freestyling about the cinema, the Odeon, and everything right there in front of us. And he then got into his car and went. So I just said, no, that's as a moment was just so as in terms of a total package for me was KRS-One in terms of what he was able to do, man. Now, No Doubt. No Doubt was a pretty good band. Don't speak. Now they're not saying. And then the legend day. No Doubts, man. That was because that's where Gwen Stefani came from before she went solo. Look, I'll discuss it at another time. Not now, but I will discuss it at another time. I'll discuss it at another time, but not now. But there was Black Mike and there was White Mike, and bro, White Mike made some damn good tracks. Okay, so let's not get it twisted. White Mike has made some of my favorite tracks, but there was White Mike and Black Mike, and Michael Jackson wanted to be white. That's what I will say. I will go into much more detail when we do it, but 100% for sure, guys, I am an MJ fan, man. I grew up with this dude. Me and my family have spent hours talking about Michael Jackson. He is literally like a deity in our household. He wanted to be white. That's a fact. He wanted to be white. Yeah, no. Look, man, no. Beyonce is the most overrated artist for sure. For sure. She's never made a classic album. She's not even made an album better than her sisters. Solange Knowles' Seat at the Table is better than anything Beyonce has done. Guys, I said, you know what? Let me be fair. I sat down and I listened to Formation. It's just a woman just shouting and just there is no musical coherence in what she's doing. Solange Knowles actually made an album. Beyonce just has this crazy fan base that just pumps her up, and this fan base just um fully blows up every single thing that she does. Simple as that. So yeah, man. No, guys. We'll talk about MJ another time. We'll talk about MJ for sure, man. But yeah. I mean, that's the thing, man. I think, like, well, okay, I'll tell you a little story, man. Onyx, man, guys. You see, for me, I like rock music. You know, I like some rock, but I'll never go to a rock concert. See, I'll go to an alternative rock concert, but never go to a hardcore rock concert. The reason why I wouldn't go to is when I went to see Onyx. The level of the mosh pits when I went to see Onyx was insane. You know, the level of the mosh pits that I went to go and see with this Jody was insane. Absolutely insane. So Onyx was crazy, man. Onyx was crazy. You know, see, my thing about Onyx is say the first song I heard from Rihanna was Umbrella, Umbrella. And I was like, wait, I mean, who is this? Who is this though? So I just felt like if Rihanna was okay, this is another overrated person that can't sing. But I think doing a bit more research, man. After I did a bit more research, Rihanna, I think, has more personality than Beyonce. Beyonce doesn't have any personality. Like, so whenever I hear Beyonce rapping, like, that doesn't do anything for me, man. But with Rihanna, you can definitely feel the massive, great, amazing personality in Rihanna's music. And again, when let's see, some of the feature work that Rihanna has done has been really good. Like Rihanna on that Kendrick Lamar track is damn good. And just on some other tracks that I've seen, I'm like, I think I'm now warming into. First of all, look, she looks great. So I'll admit that, like, she has that really cool island look, man. But yeah, man, no, she's alright, man. Let me go in even more because basically what it is. So I went to Tidal, and in Tidal, I put in Wale and I say top tracks, and then I just played it. And from what I played, I was like, okay, I don't really see anything interesting. And then I think someone asked the question of like, who's the better rapper, Wale or J. Cole? I said, oh, J. Cole. But Danny T said no. J. Cole may be the better overall rapper in terms of flow, but the better poet and better storyteller is Wale. So I am going to, because obviously Wale is Nigerian, obviously. So I think I'm going to now properly, two artists that I'm going to give some time to is Wale and Travis Scott. But guys, you guys need to listen to the internet. I don't know about whether you guys know of this band. Go to Spotify or Tidal, the internet. This is a superb band. A really, really good band. So to try to tell them that H sent you, the internet. Just the quality of the music, the quality of the singing is absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane, man. Let me tell you, I think something that says Linkin Park. I want to talk about these dudes, man. See, Blink-182 was huge when I was growing up, but I was never really into Blink-182. Although their drummer is that dude. That drummer is insane. Let me ask you guys this, and then I'll talk about Linkin Park. Let me ask you guys this, and I will know where your mind is at if you answer correctly. What is the best Red Hot Chili Peppers album? That's so now I will know what kind of Chili Peppers fan you are. What is the best Chili Peppers album? Linkin Park. You know what I've always said? Linkin Park are the best kind of new school band ever because, and a lot of it is goes down to Mike Shinoda as well. Even if Chester Bennington is an outstanding singer, you know, because I love Linkin Park because for me, like music is huge for me. That's why I have these, you know. Again, expensive. These aren't cheap, but these right here are the greatest headphones of all time. And I've been searching for amazing headphones because I need my music to be perfect. These Bose QC2 quality, I don't know, basically QC2, best headphones of all time, Bluetooth. Like Linkin Park, like for me, this is my story of Linkin Park. First album wasn't a fan. I was like, ugh, so much noise, blah, this was rock, blah, blah. Then they released Reanimation. I want. I'm saying this right now, and I don't care what anyone says. Reanimation, and I will put out the tweet. I'm going to put this tweet out. Reanimation is the greatest remix album of all time. Because when I heard Reanimation, I was like, oh my god, now I get this thing. Because obviously I was more into rap than rock then, but the way they mixed rap and rock was incredible, and the way Shinoda and his team completely reimagined all the tracks from Hybrid Theory. I was like, oh, this is amazing. But just what Linkin Park do is it's the sound, is the quality of the sound they have, how they use. It's not just about Chester Bennington singing, it's how they use his voice and how they use his voice in contrast to Mike Shinoda's rapping. And Mike Shinoda's rap, because Mike Shinoda is a very good rapper, but obviously the way he raps in his particular rap style is very particular when he does it for Linkin Park. His solo album, Fort Minor, is a damn good album. The production on the solo album, Fort Minor, is amazing. So yeah, to Linkin Park for me, I have so much respect for those guys. So much respect for those guys. But Reanimation is an outstanding album. On a musical level, on a production musical level, is an outstanding album. And Meteora is their best album. Meteora is the best album, for sure. Let's see. What did I say? Oh, so people haven't heard of Red Hot Chili Peppers? Oh my god! Okay, no, you guys have to listen to Red Hot Chili Peppers, man. Yeah, no. Yeah. No, but wait, see. So two bands you need to listen to: The Internet, Chili Peppers, and the best Chili Peppers album is Blood Sugar Sex Magic. That's their best album. Wait, let's just even bring it up now. Blood Sugar Sex Magic is their best album, man. Like I know many people say it's thingamajig. It's Californication. Californication is a great album. This is their best album, Blood Sugar Sex Magic. Also, great album cover, man. That is an amazing album cover. But Blood Sugar Sex Magic is their best album, you know. See, I think basically what happened to the Chili Peppers, it's very wild. When they were making most of their best work, they were on drugs. Ever since they went off drugs, their music went down. And also a big thing, a huge thing was John Frusciante. Because John Frusciante was their lead guitarist, and their best work, Californication and Blood Sugar Sex Magic, is when John Frusciante is their lead guitarist. But once he left the group, and this new guitarist that they came in with just doesn't have the same thing. Of course, Flea is amazing on the bass. Chad Smith is an amazing drummer. Kiddis does his thing, but the character of your band is the lead guitar. The bass just gives you that extra thing, but the guitar gives you that kind of personality. So I think once Frusciante left, it just wasn't the same, and it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same. Oh, come on. Of course I've listened to this. This is one of the most famous. It's one of the big. Was it? Well, I think it was one of the biggest songs of the 90s. Was it 2000s? No, I think it was 90s. Um, so it's huge, man. Um, you know what? Oh, okay. Let me bring this in. Nicki Minaj. Can I? Can we be honest? Let's be honest. If Nicki Minaj didn't have a boob job and a bum job, would she be as popular as she is now? Because for me, the best female rappers I know, Jean Grey, Queen Latifah, and oh gosh, what's it called? Lauren Hill. Lauren Hill. Those are the best ones that I know. But would Nicki Minaj still be this famous because she is one of the biggest artists ever? I tried listening to Pink Prince. I couldn't get through the album. I'm sorry. I tried. I got through about 4 songs. I was like, this is too hard. This is way too hard. So I had to put a stop. But yeah, Nicki Minaj for me is she's no, but the thing is that no, she can't no, she can rap, but so can Jean Grey. But I feel if she didn't have her look, her very serious look, um, she wouldn't be as big as she is now. Um, as big as she is now. But yeah, actually, no, it's true. Look. I'm trying to get Danny T to get back on what's classic. All right. So Danny T has been slacking. So I'm trying to get Danny T to try and get on this whole what's classic thing, man. So we can try and pop that off and get that going, man. Because there are many classic albums to go through, man. Because again, look, as I said, football and film are huge for me. But music is also pretty big as well. Music is also big as well. But I think the quality of music now ain't great. The quality of music now ain't great, man. Like some of the artists, not naming any names, who are at the top right now, I'm like, these guys are clowns, man. These guys are complete clowns. All right, guys, look, man, let me get the heck out of here, man. And I will so actually so tomorrow, so tomorrow we and Machine, so basically the top 10s are going to be happening every Thursday now. So tomorrow, me and Machine a bit later from 10 p.m. is going to be the top 10 comic book movies of all time. Top 10 comic book movies of all time, top 10 tomorrow. And Friday, we're going to talk about Japan. I'm going to talk about my trip to Japan. Talk about my trip to Japan. And then I'll try and figure out what's happening on Saturday, Sunday. But remember, guys, if there are any suggestions you want or anything, man, hit your boy up. Hit your boy up, and I will do my thing to try and be the best that I can be. But yeah, guys, stay true, stay blessed, stay real, and peace out, man.